My people. It's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Happy Labor Day to the world. Bitcoin is currently $58,000. It's Labor Day 2024. And today we're going to be doing a live price update and price prediction for the future of BTC. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You're now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as the Crypto Trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I try to make a video as often as possible to help you make money in the markets, and this is one of the ways we get it done. We give away free Bitcoin, FREE BTC, every single Friday. All you need to do if you want to win is leave a comment on any one of my videos. I'll pick a random video, a random comment on Friday, and bam! It's just that easy to get paid. So shout out your city. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. And then definitely check out the video on Friday to see if you are the lucky winner. So let's do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's go ahead and make this money. So here we are. This is Bitcoin's chart, y'all. This is going all the way back to the beginning of this last bull cycle, which is January 1st, 2023. As I mentioned, it is Labor Day 24. That means this is about a 12 plus 9, 21 month chart. And you can see it has significant potential. I think one of the things that I've done, this is the exact same chart that I drew in one of the other videos. It hasn't changed too much, so I'm still using it. These different lines right here are basically the strata that runs perpendicular to the up and down of Bitcoin's price. One of the things, I live in Las Vegas, so what I've learned is that these mountains actually grow with like different levels of energy inside them. Some of the mountains even grow sideways. Like this is a famous one. This is called Red Rock Mountain. But what that shows is like the growth within that red zone was completely different than what it had experienced previously. And you'll see this, like if you just go walking and actually look at the rocks, like you can see the different lines and the different levels of energy as they existed over time within these structures, right? And so these charts are the same way. Basically, if you find a trend line that's consistent, you can map and project that trend line out through space and time, and given that all things are connected, all things are one, energy does have memory. It's called resonance, and so that's what we're able to look at within these charts is what does that resonant frequency look like with regards to space and time. I say all that to say that Bitcoin is getting on its last little leg here if it wants to continue this uptrend. This line right here is basically the end of the road. That was like the Boyz II Men song for BTC, right? And so essentially, this is the moment of truth that hasn't yet come, but that's the price where we're at right now, 58,000. But the date that we're looking at, a decision needs to be made by November 15th. That's right around election time. I personally don't think election time will necessarily be a bad moment for crypto, but this is where you start getting into game theory. And what's happening right now is we do have a day of reckoning with the petrodollar. I've done videos on that talking about the end of an empire, death of the dollar, etc., etc. And we now have countries, we now have companies, we now have Wall Street financial products based on the accumulation of Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin is the longest working prototype of blockchain technology. Together, they are synonymous. It's literally like the sun and the light. You can't have one without the other, but the two combined can create a whole new world. And that's what we're watching happen right now. The only difference now, as opposed to 2 or 3 years ago, is we actually have a lot more accredited institutions accumulating this asset. And so that all leads me, and on top of that, we have a presidential candidate that has openly advocated for Bitcoin. I don't think he's the most knowledgeable on the terminology, but what is it, like 75, 78 years old, something like that. But at least he's more attuned to the current times, and whereas the other candidate, I think, is just a puppet, millionaire based on political fuckery. And, you know what you get with that one. But with this guy, is like, the orange guy, at least he's a little bit more comical. That's why I call him King Bobblehead, because in his mind, there is no higher than his own authority. And he's openly advocated for BTC. So, as I've said previously, I don't have a dog in that fight or a pony in that show, because at the end of the day, that's all it is. But I think, when I can speak on certain events that move the movement forward, then that's what I will do. But this chart is basically showing that Bitcoin is really consolidated within a very, very, very small area. You take that moving average, that's probably like 20 or 30% of the entire chart has been getting suppressed and suppressed and suppressed. So it's going to be an explosive move one way or the other. As I mentioned, this is kind of like our fail-safe. So we are running low on time. Like, we literally only have about another, 10 weeks. And a decision will have to be made. I think one of the price points you want to start to look at to see, what is Bitcoin going to do is that one right there. Because up until now, Bitcoin has made consecutive, 5 in a row lower highs. And it's made 3 in a row lower lows, right? 3 determines a trend. 5 is definitely confirmation. So what you want BTC to do is break out of this trend one way or the other. And the easiest way it can do that is that point right there. It's only about 12% off current prices. Let's see. Yeah, about 12%, 10% off current prices, and it would need to get up to $64,000. That's the $64,000 question. Can Bitcoin do it? And if so, how fast can it do it? If it falls lower, right? So let's do that. That's 64 up top. And then we have 54 on the low, right? And let's just stick a little projection right here, right? If it falls below 54 before this state, then I would say we're in trouble. That basically starts to push it out of this zone. Like, you can imagine, if it falls to this point and below, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for the market to absorb that energy and to get back to kind of like that break-even point. This is basically our break-even point, 11/15/58K. That's what we want to see Bitcoin. That's when Bitcoin has to make a decision. It's either going to be above or below. That's a polarity point, right? But right here, we basically have a sell-off. So that means BTC would have to do that. And if it does that, it does have this catch basin down here, but then it would need to get back up to this point. And it's like, you really don't have a situation to where you have both of those happen. If it breaks this point right here, then more than likely it's going to fall, which is fine. I think Bitcoin, as we know, is the best asset class in the world. And the only thing that happens when the price falls temporarily, you get a better window to buy Bitcoin. As I've said tons of times on this show, Bitcoin is the best financial vehicle ever invented for humanity. And right now, it's cheaper than a new Mercedes-Benz, right? You buy a new Mercedes-Benz off the lot, the only thing that's guaranteed is you lost 20% by the time you drive it home. Bitcoin, you go gain about 20% every year, probably for the next 10 years. You know, I remember hearing a quote. They were like, as long as you hold it 3 years or longer, it's going to double in price. It's going to make you money. I think 4 years is the going rate for doubling in price, getting about 100%. I think the CAGR, I've done this before, but the CAGR on Bitcoin is like 20 to 30%. So essentially, if you hold it 3 years or longer, you double your money. You will make money. You're almost guaranteed to make money. You hold it 3 years or longer. And in any given bull cycle, you will double your money. So essentially, this is the way to go. And if it falls, it's definitely not dead. It's definitely not the end. I want to, discredit all that FUD right now. Only thing that means, going back to the game theory of BTC, is that the powers that be that control the market want to suppress the price, more than likely so that they can buy it at a cheaper price. Because they're in the accumulation phase right now. I think one of the last interesting things is this chart right here. This is Google Trends, and it talks about, this is the Bitcoin search term. So this measures, the relative strength index of interest with regards to any given term. And right now, if you look at this side of the chart, the high that we got back in the day was like 15. That was kind of like the median area. And then it jumped up to 90, 100, 100, 180, 50, 40, 20, 20, 20, 20. We're all the way back down to 16 again. Bitcoin is only about 20% off of the top, right? So for the world not to be interested through their search index for an asset that is only 20% off of all-time highs, I think that starts to show the upside potential. Because essentially, when we get down to this level, it breaks out again, right? You get down over here, I think we got in the 13, 12 was probably the low. But immediately it bought back up, right? Get down here, 19 was a low, bought back up. Get over here, 17 a low, bought back up. 16, 15, bam. Right? So we're getting close to a relatively low index level for interest. And I think that's, kind of indicative of a future move to the up. Now, again, if we break 54 before the end of this month, then I think we're probably looking at a lower low. And that will equate to a lower high. And then we'll be looking at, okay, what happens next? We probably fall all the way down to 48, 49, and see what happens from there. And all this money, essentially, if we break through that 54,000, that means all that money is wiped off the table. We don't want to see that necessarily. I think this has a lot of viability and the future upside potential. We're not dead yet. As I mentioned, this is kind of like our last trend line to kind of save the trend, keep moving up and to the right. And that hasn't happened yet. So we're looking at 924, 54K. Hopefully we get a little break here. If we can pop higher than 64K, then officially we are out of that concession area. So those are your two prices you want to look for as we continue to move onward and upward with Bitcoin. I think now is probably one of the best times to look at getting involved in the market, starting to invest in, starting to learn how to trade. I can see alt season starting to get primed up. If we get Bitcoin 100,000 before the end of the year, you better believe it's going to be a lot of money flowing downstream into those altcoins early 2025. And so that's what I'm setting up for. That's what I'm helping you guys get set up for. And that's my mission, to help as many people make as much money as possible. This was a Bitcoin price update for 2024. Thank you for your time. If you appreciate this insight, I most certainly do appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done it, and subscribe. Shout out your city. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you want to win some free BTC, and we go keep this thing on wheels and keep it rolling, y'all. With that being said, it's that time of the day. Signing out. boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh. Huh.